Hey, Robert Plank here with a really quick question, and that's wasn't your business supposed to be something that had a life of its own, that was this huge, crazy beast that you couldn't stop even if you wanted to? Well, if you're missing or lacking or looking to bring your business to the next level, let me suggest podcasting. And the reason for podcasting is because you know that you need to blog. You know that you need to put out free information. That way you're known for something. That way you have all these avenues for people to find you, right? People can do a search on Google for something like maximize customer lifetime value. Or maybe they find you through social media. If this guy, Jeffrey Traster, posts or we post and we tag him on social media, that's another path for someone to find us. And so what's really great about this thing called podcasting is it's a lot easier than video creation, right? You don't have to do a lot of quick cuts and spend a month editing down a 1 minute video. It's easier than blogging because you don't have to write a lot of stuff. And also it involves other people because you invite guests on your show who are there because they know that you have some traffic, and they are there for you because they are providing content for you. And I want to show you a few quick things about my podcast, not too much, but basically we have 638 episodes. And if you look at these dates here, we can see that we are only published up to episode 633, and so we have a handful of episodes and even more that my podcast producer is working on, but we have a few episodes coming out every few days that feature a different guest on our show. So we are ahead of the calendar. That means we don't have to scramble for content every day. We have that content piggy bank, that content runway, whatever you want to call it. So we have all these things coming out that, like we said, appear on SEO, appear on social media. But what's also really great about podcasting is you can get the best of both worlds. And what I mean by that is that you can hit people up one-on-one. And let me show you what I mean. Is I have this spreadsheet here that I use to track my podcast, right? I track my podcast to see what dates things are coming out, what's posted, what's scheduled, what still needs to get done. I do a lot of this myself, but I have an outsourced worker jump in on a few of these columns because we use Google Drive, Google Sheets to get this all managed. And by the way, if you're curious about how to get your podcast set up, our website is podcastcrusher.com. But I want to show you this spreadsheet here where it's not just a matter of recording and posting podcast episodes, but we want to get the word out there as well, right? And so what we do is have it posted, but we also use a tool called eClincher to auto post. And let me show you this. So this is Twitter. I have 102,000 tweets under my name, and when I post, we have, for example, this post from Melinda Kelly 23 minutes ago, diving deep within. We have this, if I can, so I tweet a lot 3 hours ago. We have 4 hours ago. We have 4 hours ago. So clearly I'm not here 24 hours a day posting all these different podcast episodes with keywords, with hashtags, adding people. And what's really great too, if you've ever @ed people, which on Twitter, which means you do the @ and their username, they see it. It notifies them. And maybe people @ you on your own Twitter account and you find it kind of annoying, like, why is this person tagging me? But now you have a legitimate reason to tag someone on Twitter because you interviewed them on your show. And if we see here, Jeremy Ryan Slate, he is a huge podcaster, and he liked our tweet because this was a webinar where he came on the show and demonstrated his brilliance and showed us gave us some information, and now we tag him. And so we have people saying things like, let's see if I look at my mentions. For example, this guy, Chuck Hooper, I've been interviewed by podcasters a number of times, and Robert Plank is by far the best I've encountered. Now, he replied to this because I @ed him, I tagged him on Twitter with his podcast episode, and I've been doing this for years. So when someone hops onto my show, they get tagged for years and years just forever and ever. So some people have been on my show and they've been tagged over 100 times because they were part of it and they like seeing me promoting our episode together. And we can see that some of our tweets get a good number of impressions here, right? We get 700 impressions, and we can see that we have, in the past month, we've had 300,000 impressions from our 5,000 tweets. So here's another great bonus of podcasting is you have so much content that you almost can't possibly tweet it all out. And if we look at the previous month, we had even more impressions. We had almost 500,000 impressions just from our tweets, including a mention from Aweber. So I mentioned Aweber, I tagged their PR guy, I did a hashtag email marketing, and they loved it. And even we had this tweet with Joanna Penn that had 2,000 impressions on Twitter. So is it worth you to podcast? Yes, especially because the alternatives are video and writing. And also because now you can plug into all these different ways of promoting. And I want to show you one last thing, or not one last thing, but I want to show you this secret, this tool. And we show you how to use this in Podcast Crusher. And it's called eClincher. And you might have heard about some of these scheduled tweet services. Edgar is a good one. I've interviewed the owner of that one on my show. But eClincher is what I like to use because you can recycle content again and again. And that's my secret of having a Twitter account that posts over and over and over again and tags the same people who I've interviewed. And so what we can do is we can look at our queue of posts. And a lot of this might be unfamiliar, and that's okay. I just want to give you a quick glimpse into what we have. So we have 645 tweets that go out randomly, and then once all those 600 tweets are done, it starts over and recycles them, all right? And what we can do is check our trusty spreadsheet and see that we've last scheduled up to episode 632, and I have a lot of episodes coming out, but only one is live that is not on the Twitter queue. So episode 633, and we can search our eClincher for episode 633. And so now we say, well, I have this queue of my podcast tweets. I want to create a new post, and I want to promote episode 633 of my podcast. So I say this is robertplank.com, episode 633. And while that's loading, we'll see that this is at Jeff Traster, so we'll copy his Twitter username, and then we'll go here and we'll paste in his name, and then we'll say Entreports podcast interview, load up some hashtags, we'll load up content marketing, e-commerce. And so now this is a tweet, and now this will be episode 630 something in our queue. So we save this. So now instead of 645 tweets, we have 646. And then we'll say bulk actions, shuffle order. And now these tweets, and there's Mr. Adam Homey right there, that we have all these tweets that will go out in a random order. And it's not really worth my while to log in to just schedule one post. But if I have 10 or 20 that have all come out that I haven't yet promoted, it's good to just load these up. And then what we can do is we can instantly promote this tweet, and we'll go to Twitter and we'll say, I want to tweet, and I'll paste in that shortened tweet that our tool just created, and we'll upload the picture for Jeff Traster. So as soon as we post this, he'll see that we tagged him on Twitter, and maybe Entreport will see this because we've added some hashtags because we discussed Entreport. So we'll tweet that, and now that's yet one more place for people to find us. And I'll check off that column on my spreadsheet. And then we also have a column because it's not enough to just market in one way in this day and age, right? You have to do things in multiple avenues, multiple channels. We also want to follow up with him. We have a column for that. And we also want to add him on Facebook. So what we can do is go to our trusty Facebook and find Jeff Traster. And I'm not sure if we can find him. So let me mark as on Facebook we have an not applicable, but I do want to post about our episode. So here's what we'll do is we'll go to our most recent post, we'll right click and copy link address. We'll go to Facebook, and then we will go to our Facebook fan page, because again, we don't even just post on our fan page, we post on our fan page, we share it to our profile, and what we'll do once this loads is I'll write a post and we'll paste this link, and I was hoping it would have the image of Mr. Jeff, so instead we'll add in the correct image of Jeff. Uploading. Here we go. Probably because it was small size, low quality. And then we'll also put in that, and we'll post that to our page. But I want to show you what happens when we tag someone. So say we have this Melinda Kelly episode. So we'll right click, copy link address, go to our fan page and paste that link. Okay, and now because she has an HD image, now it will post the whole thing. And we'll also copy the title. But here's what's great about Facebook is we can do it at, and we can try to tag Melinda Kelly. So now she'll see not only on Twitter, but also on Facebook that we've posted our episode. And then we can share it, and we can share to our timeline. We can share it with, I thought there was an internet marketers. Internet. Thought there was a way. Right, and then we'll copy the title again, and then we'll at Melinda Kelly again. So she'll see, oh, for some reason that's not working, but she'll see we shared it all over the place. So that's another way we can say, I'll add on Facebook, and then I even have a column for later on down the road. I might even, just because I feel like it, post that episode a second time, and I want to make sure I give everyone a chance, so we just mark off when that's done as well. And then we have a checkbox to add this person on LinkedIn. So I'll search again, Melinda Kelly, and this is the one, so we'll connect with her. And then we'll also connect with Jeff Traster, since we were showing his stuff, so we're already connected with him on Facebook. So as I said, these sorts of things are the kind of things where you can have a virtual assistant do all this, or hire just one person to go on down the column. And then we also have a column here where we follow up with people. So we already followed up with Melinda Kelly, but we want to follow up with Jeffy Traster. So here's what we can do is we can go to our Gmail account, and we can search for Jeffrey Traster, and then we can see, so here's where we scheduled the interview, and we can just click on reply, then canned responses, post interview, and I'll say that our podcast together with Jeffrey Traster is episode 633, and we'll hyperlink that, and then hi Jeff, and here we go. So we used the template as a starting point and then customized it to match him so that now he can then promote it through his channels. That is, if he didn't notice the tagging on Twitter, and I don't think he has a Facebook, so he wasn't there to notice that. But at least this way, we have yet one more reminder. And you might notice on this spreadsheet, so here we go, followed up, that sometimes I'll let a little bit of time pass before doing my follow-up, before doing my tweet, and that's okay, because that's a delayed follow-up. Because if we have an episode and it goes live and I email instantly, that's one thing. But if I wait a couple of weeks and I circle back around and say, hey, remember that interview we did all those months ago? Now I'm building a relationship here because I'm following up with you again. So are you beginning to see how podcasting can give you the best of both worlds? Now, a podcast, the way that I like to do it is just audio only. That way you can speak out what you want to speak out. You can have someone else on. You don't have to worry about the lighting or what's behind you or stuff like that. It's just audio only. That gets your content posted. And then when you have a podcast, you can post to all kinds of directories, podcasting directories. You can get things scheduled on social media. And you can also follow up one-on-one by building your network, by adding people on Facebook and LinkedIn. So as you're looking at podcasting and you're looking at what I've set up here, I know that it might have been a lot of technical things, but I think the most important thing is that we have these newfound friends that we've made connections with who we want to help out, and they want to help us out. We want to have them on our show because that gives us content and that gives us traffic and that gives them traffic. And they would love it if there were hundreds and hundreds of people like you, but unfortunately, not everyone has a podcast. Not everyone is consistent with their podcast. Hey, here's a hint. If you want to be consistent with your podcast, what you do is you schedule these sorts of posts ahead of time. No one has to know your secret that you interviewed 10 people in a week and you schedule it all ahead of time, and then months later it plays out. No one has to know that you got everything queued up on eClincher on Twitter and then it plays out over a period of time. So really think about what's your network? Who's in your network? How big is your network? If you had to depend on a core group of people to promote you or for you to promote them, or if you're looking for some friends to make in a launch swap or in a telesummit, or you're looking to grow your social media following, do you really want to do what a lot of other internet marketers do, which is borderline spamming, which is add everyone you know to a list on Facebook and everyone is friends, but no one really talks? Well, now you can get a group of friends who you actually like, who know you, and imagine if you later on came across them because they were friends of friends or because you attended an offline event. Now you're really building those real relationships, and it's easy to do, and it's easy to repeat, and it's easy to start by you creating a podcast. So I'm Robert Plank from podcastcrusher.com. Go ahead, join the course, check it out, and create your podcast. That way you can grow your network and you can have newfound traffic sources that you previously did not have access to. So podcasting is amazing. New traffic, new friends, what more could you ask for? I'm Robert Plank from podcastcrusher.com. We'll see you in the members area, and thank you.